Rush return, Iron Maiden's Infinite Dreams, and My Dying Bride announce a set end of an era. Metal is life and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. New Guns N' Roses album is coming. After years of rumors and half-statements, Slash finally said the words every Guns N' Roses fan dreams of hearing. New album is coming.
Nice!
Speaking to Guitar World, Slash revealed that the band has so much material at this point, but admitted that the hardest part is actually to make everyone sit down and physically record it. You can't plan ahead with Guns, he laughed. Every time we try, it falls apart. But yeah, it is coming. It will just happen when it happens. Since reuniting in 2016, which by the way, if you want to feel old, happened almost 10 years ago, Guns N' Roses have released just a handful of, almost new tracks, most of which were just reworked songs from the Chinese Democracy era. So yeah, just a handful of new stuff for their die-hard fans. Although with Slash and Duff McKagan now back in the creative mix and Axl Rose's more open to writing than in decades, this is exactly what their fans have been expecting from them. But yeah, it looks like after years of extremely heavy touring, and by the way, sold out concerts pretty much all across the world, the boys finally realized that maybe they shouldn't really just go on material that was written several decades ago, which of course is simply amazing news for all of those who love to use their illusion. Here guys, super quick, I simply have to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to this channel, so if you're not one of those, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching here, I would really, and I mean like really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. Rush is back, but fans are divided. After years of silence and endless speculations, Rush are finally going back up on stage. But not all fans are celebrating.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
Now, in case you guys lived under the rock in the last couple of days, the surviving members, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, have confirmed a 2026 reunion tour featuring drummer Annika Nilles in a show to honor the late and legendary Neil Peart. So yeah, the project, rumored for months, is now a reality. A full-scale return of one of the most beloved progressive rock bands in history. According to the announcement, the tour will focus on celebrating Peart's compositions and Rush's unmatched 50-year legacy, and in no way they are trying to replace the legendary drummer. And yet still, many fans did not really take this news well. Social media has been flooded with angry comments calling the idea disrespectful, a cash grab, and even insisting that Rush died with Neil, arguing that a new lineup would tarnish the great band's legacy. And here's the thing, I actually do understand both camps. And I'll be honest with you, no one can ever replace the legendary Neil Peart. And therefore, I personally would have been much more comfortable with this announcement if they would have called it, a Rush legacy or something like this, to both honor their music and showcase that, there's no Rush without Neil Peart. So yeah, there's that. But at the same time, well, the remaining two guys are alive, and in no way they should stop playing music. The incredible music they've been doing for over 50 years today, especially when they have a chance to give this amazing gift to their fans. And here's the thing, if we're being very honest, if every band stopped after losing a key member, rock would have been dead for ages now. Deep Purple have outlived 4 eras in the first years of their existence. AC/DC survived the loss of the legendary Bon Scott. And Black Sabbath went through more singers than some bands have albums. So yeah, in my opinion, Geddy and Alex definitely do have a right to play music. And it looks like from ticket sales, this announcement has been a huge gift to all of the die-hard fans of this incredible legendary band. And those who think that it is simply a money grab, well, there's a very simple answer to that dilemma. I guess it will be a tour for all of those to skip. By the way, guys, what do you personally think about the Rush reunion, and are you planning to see this band live next year? Please let us know in the comments. I'm actually really curious to find out what some think, and especially if you are a diehard Rush fan. And here, a huge shout out to all the YouTube channel members and all the patrons. Guys, it is thanks to your help and thanks to everyone who purchases Metal Pilgrim merch to rock out at metal shows that I have a chance to release these videos. And by the way, guys, a special episode on all the Megadeth drummers and rather interesting relationships they had with a couple of those is already available for all of you. So definitely do not miss it. And if you would like to join the community of Metal Pilgrim supporters, just know that you can do so via a link in the description to this video, or simply by clicking somewhere around here. Testament's Para Bellum. American thrash metal giants Testament are back with their 14th studio record titled Para Bellum, their first new record since 2020's Titans of Creation, and the first album featuring Chris Dovis on the drum and Jens Bogren as a mixing engineer, who it looks like has worked on pretty much all of the top albums of this year. Interestingly enough, Testament actually started working on this album in 2023, but the progress was extremely slow. In June 2024, vocalist Chuck Billy confirmed that only most of the drum parts were recorded, and the first single, Infanticide AI, saw the light of day only in August of 2025. But interestingly enough, that back then, at the very start, guitarist Eric Peterson said that this upcoming record is some kind of mixture of thrash, new wave of British heavy metal, black thrash, and heavy hard rock blues, which sounds rather weird, but you know what? After listening to Para Bellum, I cannot really disagree with him. The album's title comes from a Latin phrase, Si vis pacem para bellum, which means if you want peace, prepare for war. A rather relevant phrase today. And at least in my opinion, although this record does have a couple of unexpected turns, or rather interesting surprises, it still gives the Testament fans exactly what they want and expect from their favorite band. Relentless thrash metal done in a very 2025 manner. A true gift to all of the fans of this incredible band. And by the way, among the other gifts Testament prepared for their fans is a Thrash of Titans tour, which kicked off last week with such little bands as Nervosa, Obituary, and Destruction, some of which also did release amazing albums earlier in 2025, which just once again proves that this year is possibly the best year thrash metal had in several decades. Gene Simmons scares. Kiss legend Gene Simmons is recovering at home after being hospitalized following a car accident at Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu. According to police, the 76-year-old bassist apparently fainted behind the wheel and hit a parked vehicle. His wife Shannon told the journalist that his doctors recently corrected his medication and advised him to drink way more water than he usually does, and he absolutely hates it. But other than that, Gene should be absolutely okay. Thanks everybody for the kind wishes. I'm completely fine. I had a slight fender bender. It happens, especially to those of us who are horrible drivers, and that's me. All is well, said Gene in his statement. Although I have to be honest with you, fainting behind a wheel is not something that should be taken lightly. So we all of course wish Gene all the best and hope that Demon will recover soon enough to perform the Kiss Landlocked in Vegas cruise, which is scheduled for next month, and also give that very special concert announced by Donald Trump. But I'm kind of curious what kind of special surprise this band has prepared. Although I guess given the lineup announced, most of us kind of assume what it might be. And now the time has come for your favorite part of the video, so let's take a look at 5 latest metal releases from this week, which although did not get their own segments in this video, are still definitely worthy of your attention.
American rockers Alter Bridge released What Lies Within on October 8th, accompanied by an animated video directed by J.T. Ibanez. The song appears on their upcoming self-titled 8th studio album, set for release on January 9th, 2026 via Napalm Records. The track explores the shadows inside us, anchored by Miles Kennedy and Mark Tremonti's interplay of vocals and guitars.
Don't give in, just breathe, knowing all the while.
Toronto rock power trio Danko Jones dropped Diamond in the Rough, featuring nobody else but the legendary Marty Friedman, the latest single from their forthcoming 12th studio album Leo Rising, coming November 25th, 2025. The video, directed by Patrick Uleos, is a loose spoof of Kiss meets The Phantom of the Pork, with a Kiss tribute band lip-syncing while Friedman's fiery soul drives the track's arena rock energy. The song builds on previous singles like What You Need and Every Day is Saturday Night. Zakk Wylde's outfit Black Label Society released Broken and Blind, continuing their string of 2025 singles following The Gallows and Lord Humongous. The music video premiered concurrently, reinforcing the band's signature aggressive stance.
It took me so long to realize.
Pertubator, the dark synth metal project of James Kent, has officially released the full-length album Age of Aquarius via Nuclear Blast. Featuring the previously released single Apocalypse Now with Christopher Rick of Ulver, the album dives deep into themes of chaos, identity, and dystopian autonomy. Stylistically, it blends retro synthwave textures with industrial heaviness, continuing Kent's evolution into darker and more cinematic territory. Frayle have released their new full-length album Heretics and Lullabies via Napalm Records. The record explores themes of inner torment, ritual, and vulnerability, wrapped in a soundscape of ethereal vocals, crushing doom riffs, and atmospheric textures. With 10 tracks that blur the line between lullaby and lament, the album marks a bold evolution in the band's occult doom aesthetic.
And by the way, guys, our Metal 365 playlist has gotten a huge update, so if you haven't listened to it for a while, you should definitely do so after watching this video. All the links to both Spotify and YouTube Music will be in the description to this video. My Dying Bride Breakup. It's official, My Dying Bride have parted ways with their legendary founding frontman Aaron Stanthorpe after nearly 35 years together.
Hold me closely. Never let me.
The decision comes less than a year after the band brought in Mikko Katamaki of Swallow the Sun to handle live vocals for 2025 shows. Sparking rumors about Aaron's future, and now the band has confirmed that those rumors were true. In a heartfelt statement, they said, "Our decision to move forward without him was not taken lightly, but to ensure a continued legacy for what we hold dear to our hearts, we have to move past this." Which, of course, although was kind of expected for everyone who follows this band, still is a huge hit for all the fans of My Dying Bride. Guitarist Andrew Cragen revealed earlier that Aaron had become increasingly distant, not responding to messages since April 2024, which eventually led to cancelled shows. And meanwhile, Stanthorpe himself said that he hoped things could be resolved at some point in the future, but admitted that communication between him and the rest of the band has basically completely broken down. Yet despite the split, My Dying Bride insists that they are not on hiatus, and they wish Aaron the best on his new solo and High Parasite projects. Yet nevertheless, it is the end of an era for one of the most legendary doom metal bands on the planet. And the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter for My Dying Bride. As one thing it is to hear someone singing My Dying Bride songs at a concert, but it would be a completely different thing to hear new music by My Dying Bride without the voice of their legendary vocalist. Sepultura, Trivium, Drummers, and Drama. Some metal fans were a bit confused this week when Trivium decided to announce that Greyson Nekrutman, the powerhouse drummer of Sepultura, would be joining them on the upcoming North American tour.
Okay.
But turns out it's only temporary. Sepultura quickly clarified the situation, confirming that Greyson is still part of the band, just on loan to their friends at Trivium for a couple of dates. Greyson has temporarily joined our friends from Trivium as their drummer. In 2026, he'll be back with Sepultura, resuming his place in the band as we continue our farewell tour. And Trivium's Matt Heafy also thanked Sepultura publicly, saying, "Thank you for letting us hang out with your phenomenon of a drummer. We even played Slave New World in your honor." So now, Sepultura fans, you're not losing Greyson. Although, quite interestingly, right after that announcement, Trivium's Paolo Grigoletta actually said that he's not entirely sure whether Greyson Nekrutman will be playing at Trivium's upcoming new studio album, which, if he's talking about that, most likely means that they've at least spoken about it already.
Hey guys, just FYI, I want to point out that this metal diet is going to be slightly shorter than usual because, as most of you most likely know, Russians attacked civilian infrastructure last night, and it was one of the hardest hits since the start of the invasion. I'm lucky enough I have a battery plugged in here, which powers my light and stuff like that, for a camera for recording, but I'm running out of it already, so this one is going to be a bit shorter than usual. Haven't had electricity for hours. Yeah, neither water nor electricity, but it's gonna be okay. Yeah, let's continue.
Iron Maiden's Infinite Dreams. Alright, Iron Maiden fans, it is finally here. One of the most important chapters of Iron Maiden's celebrations of their 50th anniversary has finally been released. As this week, Iron Maiden marked their 50th anniversary with something truly special, a massive new book titled Infinite Dreams, curated with direct input from Steve Harris. And this stunning 300+ page tome visually chronicles 5 decades of Maiden history, from smoky London pubs to the biggest arenas around the globe. Harris himself said he was pleasantly surprised at how much material he'd kept from the early days, old flyers, set lists, and candid photos that had never been seen before, and that it finally felt right to bring this all together in order to celebrate the 50th anniversary of one of the greatest heavy metal bands to ever walk this earth. And this book does look like a real goldmine for all the die-hard fans of Iron Maiden, as it does include some absolute gems, including Steve Harris's handwritten diary from 1976, full of notes about early gigs, crowd reactions, and even the band's pay, including a hilarious entry about a terrible performance at Sneaky's Rock Club. Another highlight is, of course, a huge collection of unseen photos from the 1970s, showing Maiden's early incarnations, the legendary Green Goddess tour bus, and even prototype versions of the now iconic Iron Maiden logo, showcasing much, and I mean much more than we've seen before, even in the early days documentary. The book also features a spread of vintage tour t-shirts, stage props from across the decades, from the Powerslave sarcophagus to Legacy of the Beast gargoyles, and a beautifully organized layout that lets you relive Maiden's evolution album by album. And yes, according to all of you metal pilgrims who've already gotten this book, it is simply incredible. And I am, in a good way, a bit jealous, as this book unfortunately was not available for pre-order to Ukraine. We all understand why. And I truly hope that I will be able to somehow get a hold of it sometime in the future. But for now, for all of you who are a bit more lucky with their shipping address, I will be leaving a couple of links to order it if you still haven't done it in the description to this video. As, yes, it does look like it is definitely worth it. A bit more Iron Maiden.
What so proudly we hailed
This week, Iron Maiden frontman Bruce Dickinson once again treated his American fans to something very special. His personal rendition of the United States national anthem at Los Angeles Kings' home opener.
And the rockets red clear the bombs burst.
No, seriously, I just love it. Both the whole fact that it is a Brit who is singing about Americans kicking ass of Brits and everyone loves it. And secondly, well, because Bruce sounds simply incredible.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, spread the word about this channel, and of course join our communities on Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, Discord, and pretty much everywhere you can post content. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!